If they do that, the Cougars will be very, 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 very tough to beat.
Wilson! Oh! And we are tied!
Let's go!
Call them Pawd Slama Jama.
And I don't ever let them forget where we come from.
Getting those phones out. Record me acting ignorant, man.
Baylor empties it out. Quick toss! It's going the other way! Second pick of the night! Jeremiah Wilson finishes this one!
Seventh heaven for Houston. The Cougars advance to their seventh Final Four.
Go Cougs! Let's go!
It's so good! The dream remains alive for the Houston Cougars!
That clip can never not put a smile on your face. Welcome into another edition of the Pawd Slama Jama podcast here with Dayon Dunlap and Bryce. Beall, how are y'all doing on this Tuesday evening?
Man, I'm blessed, man. It's just a great time to be a Coug, man. I'm excited. Like you said, that last clip, I got goosebumps like I ain't never seen it before, man. I'm blessed.
Yeah, same. Blessed, fantastic. Summertime. It's kind of almost a weird time. I'm itching for football, itching for just any sports. NBA Finals is almost over, so it's almost to that time where it's just itching, watching spring clips, just any news that we can get from Cougs, and so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, we're getting close to the unofficial start of football season, less than a month away to Big 12 Media Day. And on the topic of football, let's start there, where the Houston Cougars, they had a very busy recruiting this past weekend. They had a lot of visits. If you were active on social media, you saw a lot of different players that were in for their visits, a lot of pictures taken, a lot of posts made over the weekend. And obviously we talked about it last week on the episode that we had about the big commit from Keyshawn Henderson, and kind of how potentially there could be more commits coming down the pipeline soon. When we're looking at their class of 2026 recruiting class for the Houston Cougars football team right now, they currently stand at 47th in the country, depending on what of the online sources you see. This is courtesy of On3, the 47th in the country, 5th in the Big 12, and quite frankly, this is with a very, very, very early recruiting class. They only have 7 commits so far, obviously headlined by Henderson. But big weekend for Houston Cougars football. A lot of players in for their visits to potentially be future Cougs.
Real quick, Bryce,
man.
Now I'm just gonna say, being a coach in high school, what are you hearing from what recruits? What do they want to hear? What do they want to see when they go on these on-campus official visits? What's the pitch? I know it's different per player, but what's some of those things? Just a few of them.
I mean, let's just get the obvious out. The NIL, that's the number one thing these players nowadays are looking for. But when you look past that, they really just want to see. They want to believe that what you selling them, that you can really get the best out of them to give them the chance. I mean, the NFL has a small margin of players that are gonna make it, but every kid, even mine, every kid has that dream. When they go to the college level, they want to get a chance to play. So, what are you doing as a program to show that, okay, we develop kids here, we giving you the best facilities to be able to get the maximized performance, and to jump into this past weekend's recruiting visit. I know I talked to some kids who was on. And U of H had some heavy hitters this weekend. Some program changers. Some of the most electrifying kids in the city was at U of H this weekend. And I know at first I was a small critic of U of H because I didn't know much about Coach Fritz. But one thing I'm noticing, and he's doing a great job at, is they're trying to get the best talent in the city to stay here. And this weekend, they made some big impressions on some kids that took OBs there, and I think we're gonna hear some good news soon. It's gonna be great. It's a great time. The new facility really wowed a bunch of the kids, and I'm glad U of H really poured money into that new athletic facility. That alone, as an athlete, when you go there, like, you're going to spend when I was at U of H, we spent 90% of our time at the Alumni Center where we trained, our locker room. Even when we went training, we was in the locker room all the time. When I was online, I was in the locker room. Like, I can say that now. I was in the locker room. Like, everything you lived in the locker room. Like, your study hall, everything is in the locker room. Now, them opening up that new facility is going. Now you can compete. Because when you used to go to U of H, you saw athletic fields, and then you go to A&M and Texas, you're like, man, this is the ghetto compared to. You can't say that anymore. And I've had some kids who told me that is a game changer. And of course, keeping Henderson last week, I remember last week I said Henderson, keeping him was going to be important for building this class. Guess who's on the OB this weekend talking to recruits, recruiting them to U of H? Henderson. Keeping that piece there, and he's going to attract receivers and top athletes to come there because they want to be able to play with the kid. And watch, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. I got a really good feeling.
Yeah, that's big because me as a casual fan, I'm not even a casual fan. I would say as someone who didn't play college football, just played football my life, but didn't play collegiately, I always wondered, and you just put it, you just made it make a lot of sense of why facilities are so important. Because I would always think, like, why do you worry about? I would think a weight room is a weight room. But when you break it down like you did, the much time that you spend in there, the just all of what you need and how because I know how Alumni Center was, but now you outside of that, when you're in your own facility, it makes sense on how it's such a big difference versus what it was when it was in the Alumni Center. Wow.
Oh man, it makes a huge difference because now with the new facility, you have a chance to have hot tub, different things. We shared one hot tub with the entire sports. Literally, a hot tub wasn't that big at the Alumni Center. Track, tennis, soccer, anybody could come in, and if it was full, it was full. Like I wouldn't say we grew up. I mean, it made us who we was. That's why we took the mantra from third world schools. Like, we didn't have it like other schools. We took that with pride. Where we was going to go through, we was going to get out together. We didn't have it, and I think it's still going to be the same. But having facilities like that, it helps you develop as a young man, and also helps you develop as an athlete. And being able to now have a level playing field with everybody else. If I'm in Houston, and I'm not from Houston, I was from East Texas, which wasn't far, which made the decision reason to go there. But if I'm from Houston, I now everything I can get in Austin, the facility, I'm now getting at U of H, and I think that is so huge. And shout out to Fertitta and them and all the people who had a hand in making sure that they give the coaches the type of facilities that they need to be successful in. It was a big hit this week, and I know a lot of kids who really are buzzing about Houston. And you're like Andy said, we ranked like 47. I'm willing to bet by the end of the cycle we'll be a top 25 recruiting class. I really believe that Coach Fritz and them, shout out to Coach Fritz, is doing an awesome job of locking down the city. It's reminding me when Coach Herman got the job. Actually, Coach Levine did a wonderful job, and people don't give him enough credit. Coach Levine did a wonderful job getting a bunch of talent like that to stay home, which I'm not saying Coach Herman inherited a really good team because Coach Levine had the whole mindset of this at first, but Coach Herman did a great job of just keep emphasizing locking down the city, and Coach Fritz is doing that exact same thing. He's locking down the city. He's getting the best player, and what's the name said it best along Oklahoma. Coach Barry Switzer. He said, "If I can only recruit Houston, I win a championship every year," and that is true. If you get the best players in Houston to commit, you'll be competitive nationally for a long time.
Bryce, one of the things I kind of want to ask you, and this is having you remember when you went on your visit to Houston. One of these things when players do go on their visit, like you said, the coaches are trying to sell that vision to get that buy-in early to have them commit to their program. Do you remember your visit when you came to Houston, and what was it about Houston's pitch that sold you to being a Cougar?
Oh man, I remember like it was yesterday. I tell all my players. I remember I was committed to Missouri to play safety, and Coach Sumlin at the time, he was at Oklahoma. They just had another 4-star commit to them at Oklahoma State. He was recruiting me he was a Texas recruiter. He kept saying, man, this guy decommitted, we're going to come get you. We're going to come get you. And then the year prior to that, I had the number one running back in the state at my school. So Coach Sumner was recruiting him so hard. They were always down here, and I was the junior, so they were like looking at me. So then when he got the job at Houston, I moved the offensive side of the ball my senior year of high school. I didn't play running back until my senior. I was a defensive guy my whole life. And I played running back, and I rushed for 2,800 yards and 40 touchdowns. And no school still wanted me to play running back. And then Coach Sumner came on my visit. And he came when he got the job. The first week he got the job, the second day he came to my school, he drove all the way to Texas Tatum. He came to my basketball practice, and he pulled me out of practice. He said, and he like, I don't have a running back on campus. And he was like, as you look at all the offense I've been a part of, the running backs we done had. And at the time, he just left Oklahoma. They had DeMarco Murray, Adrian Peterson, and they had a flurry of running backs right before me. So I'm thinking in my mind, I said, oh, this guy done been around some great running backs. His offenses do really well with running backs. So then I get on campus, and on my visit, I just took a visit to TCU the week before. And cause I was going to decommit because I wanted to stay in Texas. At the time, it's crazy. I was in love with my high school sweetheart, and my mom. I was a mama's boy. I didn't want to go far, so I wanted to stay in Texas. So I went to TCU the week before, and then I went to U of H. And when I came to U of H, Coach Sumlin, he did a great job of emphasizing how important he wanted to develop me and how he felt, yes, I'm committed to Missouri to play defense, but he felt I was a running back. And I think I didn't see it at the time either. I thought I was a defensive player. But he just kept saying, man, just come here. You're going to play early. You're going to play as a freshman. You're going to play as a freshman. And a lot of coaches say that, but then something happened, and we want to develop you. But he gave me the opportunity. When I first came in as a freshman, I didn't start the first 2 or 3 games. I had a good running back in front of me, Andre Kahn. But I got to play it. Like the first game of the season against Southern, I'll never forget my first game. I still rushed for 50-some yards as a true freshman. And I got a chance to compete with the 1s and 2s early. And everything he taught me, he actually was true to his word about it. And I just believe that he gave me a chance to develop as a running back. He gave me a chance to stay home, close to home. I was about 3 hours away. So there was a chance to stay. So I remember that visit every single the moment I came from my basketball game to that night, going out that night, having fun. I'm not going to get into those details. This is when downtown was downtown, and my cousin Carson and Isaiah, some of the guys that are above me, they took me out, and I partied so hard I missed the breakfast the next morning on a recruiting breakfast. And the funniest thing Coach Sumner said is I missed it, and he was blowing my phone like, where you at? And I finally show up, and he was smiling. Seemed like you had a good time, and that won my dad over, that won me over.
Man, you said something that I want to.
I did. I had a good time.
Something that I'm curious about now with how he was kind of saying that you were going to play as a freshman, and although he was true to that word, and like you said, some coaches aren't. What do you tell as a coach and just as a mentor to young men? What do you advise them? It's like, hey, stay the course. If you don't play your first year, because now with the portal, it's high. If they don't play their first year, and most, I don't say most, a lot of guys they hop in the portal. So what's your advice on that? As you, yeah.
And what I tell, especially kids involved, I tell them now, don't choose a school because of the logo, and don't choose it because of money. Those two things can change year by year now. I said, what you got to do is one, it's important to get a good feel of your head coach. Does he want to be there? And two, your position coach. Your position coach, who you're going to be with all the time. My position coach, that was Coach McKinney. He was there all 4 years, man. He was tough on me early. By the time I got to see him, he was a lot laid back. But you got to choose a school that you feel you can really feel it's not about the money. It's about they want you there. And I felt like I knew Coach McKinney and Coach Sumner wanted me there. Especially being that there was a first year, Coach McKinney came from a high school ranks. He was a head coach at Yates right across the street, and he was his first college job as a running back coach at U of H. I could tell that they really wanted me to be their guy, and it's how they recruited me. Coach Sumlin came to my school multiple times. Then before I even came to my official visit, he did a home visit. He came and played dominoes with me and my daddy. In the country, we like to play dominoes. He came in the country and played Dunlap. So you have to find a school that you can really that it's just not recruit you because of logos. I know a lot of schools now they see a guy get hot and try to offer him late and try to get in on late on. If they didn't build their relationship with you from day one and say, "Here, you're our guy. This is how I'm going to recruit you," not throw money at you. I would tell recruits now you can tell, and that is very important in how you're going to fit in their program. They care about you. They're not going to tell you not to go on visits. They're not going to tell you not to talk to this coach. My line brother Juice, he's one of the best recruiters out there because he's a player. He doesn't tell kids not to go on visit. He doesn't tell kids not to do this. He wants you to go see. By the time you go around, he wants you to love him so much and love Texas Tech so much that when you decide to go there, you know it's family and business. And I tell kids all the time, I try to recruit for you as much as I can, but it's not, go play for a guy like Justin Johnson who really going to show you that it's bigger than just football, that they really care about you becoming a better man as well.
Bryce, what are conversations like between college coaching staffs and you whenever they reach out to you about a player?
Is he really a kid that can play here? That's one thing they want to know. Is he a kid that's going to make it here? Because what a lot of kids don't know is at high school you have stat camp. You're there at 7, you're done by 10, and then you have to do. And then you relaxing all day. When you get to college life, it's 5 o'clock workouts. It's class at 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's from class from 8 to 1. Then it's meetings from 1 to 2. Then you got walkthroughs from 2 to 3. You got tape from 3 to 3:30, getting your ankles taped. You got another walkthrough after that at 4 o'clock. Then you're on the field by 4:30. You're off the field by 6:30. Then, if you don't have a 3.0 GPA, which most of you should, you at study hall from 7 to 9. And then you leave study hall at 9 o'clock for dinner. And then you back in the bed at 10, and it starts all over again the next day.
Oh, okay. And
so it's like working a 16-hour shift Monday through Saturday. And so they want to know if that's the type of kid who they don't have to worry about coming to class on time, coming to work on time, not missing meetings. Because at first, it was tough for me, man. My freshman year, I was so exhausted, man. I didn't go to class. I'm not gonna say that. I didn't go to class. Miss Wiggins was on my tail about it all the time. It took me until my coaches had me there at 4 o'clock in the morning running for it to realize, okay, this is different. So they want to make sure that it's the big investment. These coaches put a lot on. They're investing now, especially they're investing 6 years. So they need to know if this type of kid is gonna come in and do what they ask him to do, and if not, they know they're gonna get the truth from me. There's been times I had kids that I coached. I was like, Coach, I don't think you can prove him. And you can ask my line brother Justin. I tell him, I said, just don't touch this kid. I said, I love him. I want to be successful, but this kid will get you fired. And they understand that I'm gonna always be honest with them. And then that's the biggest part about it. I'm not going. If I don't think you can play that, I'm not going to tell. I'm telling the coach, I will go find somebody else to pick your program better than this kid. And it's not on a kick. I'm pushing for all my kids, but it's certain schools in certain ways that certain kids can fit in that. And if you're a ball, is definitely going to be 100%. Like, no, this is not a third world. It's not a Cougar boy. He don't carry himself like how we did when we was at U of A. So I'm very blunt and honest with him about that.
It's great insight. It's crazy to think, like, a lot of times, that's all off the field stuff, right? That's what kind of character, what kind of really drive the individual players have that a lot of times can make or break whether the kid's going to get recruited by a team.
Absolutely, and I tell my kids all the time when they at workouts, I be like, y'all all y'all have D1 dreams, but y'all have JUCO working. There's nothing wrong with JUCO, but you JUCO work hard, but you don't grind like you need to do it, and it takes them a little while to realize like the jump from high school to college is harder from college to NFL. Because if you make it to the NFL, you're elite athlete. The elite of the elites make it to the NFL. So those guys know what they're doing. You don't make it there by accident to the NFL. But when you go from high school to college, it changes everything about you. Like everything about the jump from high school to college is completely different, and that transition is much tougher than college to the pros. And I tell colleges and I tell athletes all the time, you have to adapt quickly, and it's changing. Like the landscape is changing, and these schools are investing a lot of money now. If you come in and you don't have to play. They give you a lot of money, but you don't have to play. But if you're not going to class or you skipping workouts meetings, they got you the 1-year contract. They sign 1-year contract. They're gonna move on to the next kid. And with the portal, it's so easy to do it like this. Your mindset have to be, I have to grind out every single day, because the next minute I look over my shoulder, it ain't like I can sit here for 3 years and waste their scholarship money. Like I had teammates who knew they would never play at U of H, but they was gonna finish and get their degree and use U of H to pay for their school. Those days are over. Now they get rid of you quicker, so you gotta have that mindset.
It's big. We're talking about this upcoming recruiting class, and I see a question in the comment from CA37. His question is: any freshman this upcoming class with a chance to start? What about like this current class that we just came in with, Austin? Any players on that class that's on your site that we need to look out for?
I will say this: it depends. It really depends on how Connor starts the season.
Okay.
And I say that they made a big investment in him, but before Henderson gets on campus, I really think they will want to see what Carlisle has. And I know if I'm on a coaching staff, I know what I got in the backup. If Connor doesn't come out, and I'm hoping he does. I'm really hoping he could be. He was very big coming out of high school. I'm really hoping he can do it. If he does, if by any chance first 3-4 games he's not who they thought he would be, and you have a kid who reminds everybody on that campus of Johnny Manziel. Seeing what happened, what Johnny Manziel did to a program like Texas A&M. He took Texas A&M. They're the most delusional school ever. You would think they'd have won 10 championships. They never had. But what Johnny Manziel did in those 2.5, 3 years, I don't think I've seen anything like it. He made that program so popular with his swagger, with his athleticism, and I truly believe Austin Carlisle. I've been saying this since 2 years ago. He's been the best quarterback in the city for 2 years. I think I truthfully think he's the most talented quarterback in the room right now, with throwing, running ability. If you put the complete package together, he's the best quarterback in the room right now. I think I kind of starts the season. I really believe he has a chance to really be special. I think he does as a true freshman. I do.
You think he starts off as QB2?
I think I can. Absolutely. He's the most talented guy in the room. And they know that. You don't have to watch much. When you went out there and watch in the spring, he is clearly the most talented guy. Connor's more consistent throwing the ball in the pocket than he is. But I'm telling you, coaching, when you had a guy who made plays on unscripted plays, nobody in that room was better than Austin Carlisle. Unscripted plays better than he is. When what you call it's not there. When his first read that, second read like that, that's what killed us last year. When I first read one there, man, we were terrible after that. This guy can move. He put pressure on defenses where he can buy more time, and all of a sudden now you're getting throws that you weren't getting. Now you're getting runs you wasn't getting. He actually, the other guys can run the ball, they couldn't throw the ball. Now he gives you that dual threat, and he's the most talented guy in the quarterback room, and I'm comfortable saying that.
Yeah, I don't, just to piggyback off of Bryce's comments, I don't know necessarily if, we clear cut at this point say he's got a chance to start, but if you had to pick one, just based on this is very, very limited practice that I saw from that spring, but Austin Carlisle did make a hell of a case in that semi spring game that they have. So he definitely showcased a lot of different skills. I think he'll see the field in some capacity at some point, like we talked about in last week's episode, even if they have packages in some way, shape, or form. So it'd be curious to see how, if any freshman steps up, really becomes a key contributor for Houston this upcoming season. Dayon, do you have any other questions about just recruiting in general? Because I do want to get Bryce's thoughts on this one other thing. It's a little bit different, but relating to college football.
Recruiting. I know with big names we mentioned Henderson. What are other names that potentially that can be big like that we need to be on the lookout for?
I can't say. I wish I could. I wish I had the. I wish I just know. I feel like U of H has a chance on the best player in the city. And I go to war thinking this kid is the best, and I'm never gonna. He has a great family. He has a great coach mentor. A really good friend of mine. He to me is the best player in the city. I think U of H has a really good chance at him, and it's a receiver that I feel they're gonna get, and this guy is electric and. It'll come out soon, and once it comes out,
one recruiter I just saw. He's announcing on the 13th. I mean, on July 13th, maybe 7/13.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 713 day.
What's his name?
713 day. Oh, I just seen it today.
What's his name?
Find it real quick. Let me find it real quick. I know he wore number 81. I was just looking at it today. I think it is.
Yep.
It's Warren.
Jaylen
Warren. Yeah, I was just looking at him today.
Our college.
Yeah.
Electric. Okay. Go look at his track times.
I was just looking at him today.
That kid. I'm hoping he can be a cool. We'll see. I'm hoping he can be a cool. He's probably on top of my head. I think he's the fastest guy in the city. I don't think anybody ran 10-2 besides him. No, Dylan Mitchell, kid from CU King, and a kid from Side Springs, but. He's electric. Go watch his highlights. He's electric. Hopefully we can get him, man. I mean, we'll see how U of H. He was on a visit this past weekend. They very impressed. He was very impressed with everything. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get him.
On that topic, Bryce, I do want to ask you about some news, some college realignment news, and maybe not specifically. There's a local tie-in just in terms of it being an in-state, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on just realignment in general, because I don't think we've asked you about this with all the craziness. Obviously, Houston has been involved in it when it comes to the move to the Big 12, and obviously the big headliners that caused everything in recent realignment with Texas and OU jumping ship, and then obviously UCLA, Oregon, Washington, all them schools jumping to the Big 10. But Texas State, apparently, and this is according to ESPN, is heavily expected that Texas State will get a formal invite to the Pac-12, which, again, let me say that again, Texas State, a formal invite to the Pac-12, which would put them in the same conference with Oregon State. And it made a lot of noise this week. I'm curious to get your thoughts, Bryce, on one, Texas State, how maybe that could impact their recruiting in the state, and then two, just college realignment in general, especially in Texas, how much shift there has been, obviously, with Texas going to the SEC, Houston to the Big 12, even schools like UTSA and Rice going up to the American Athletic Conference, which isn't one of the Power Fives, but still.
UNT too. Well, no, they stay right anyway.
UNT too.
The Pac-12 always wanted to have a Texas. I think if they never would have broken up, I really believe they was coming out to UH. They wanted their presence from Texas. I mean, obviously for obvious reasons, in the Pac-12. But Texas State, that'd be good for them, I guess. It's really disheartening. I always hated the new realignment. I was fine with Texas. You jump into the SEC because at one point in time they were back in the day with Arkansas, all them in schools. But to see schools like UCLA and USC go to the Big Ten, and it doesn't feel the same anymore. And the Pac-12 not having any of those schools there, is it really the Pac-12? It's just by name, like Oregon State, Washington State. I mean, those are traditionally they're not good football. They're not football programs. They're not great basketball program. Oregon State is a great baseball program, but I mean, it seems like you're gonna get a bunch of mid football teams. It's like having I wouldn't say the American, but just be the American West. You're getting a whole bunch of. You're probably gonna get teams like Colorado State to join the conference and different things like that. So I don't see it as a. I mean, for Texas State, it sounds that maybe it's more money. I don't think it's gonna affect recruiting because Texas State does a great job recruiting for what they can now because they have a great head coach. I have no secret. I wanted G.J. Kinney as U of H head coach. I thought he offensively he's a genius. I thought he was a Texas high school kid. He was a Texas high school football coach, high school coach. He played at Texas and before he transferred to Tulsa. Like his daddy was a high school head coach. I thought he was a perfect hire. So he knows what he's doing. He's graduated with me in high school, like young coach. He does a great job recruiting. San Marcos is a great college campus to go to. I did some of my best traveling and partying there at San Marcos, but
yeah, same.
I don't see it as a major in sports because we still look at athletes they still look at Texas State as the same no matter what, and they had great success, and he's doing an awesome job there. But if they went to the Big 12, then I think it'll make a difference. If they went to the Big 10, it'll make a difference. Even if they went to the ACC, it'll make a difference. I think ACC has helped SMU out a lot of recruiting.
A lot.
But going to the Pac-12 where you basically is going to be the American West, I mean, I don't think it's going to really affect Texas recruiting at all. And I just wish, and I keep talking about change. I know Florida State is trying to get to the SEC. It's going to be two major conferences, and we all hate it. And I hope this doesn't happen. But the Big Ten and the SEC is going to continue to do what they can to make this a two-conference thing, and it's ruining college sports. It really. Everybody talk about the NIL. NIL is not ruining college sports because players deserve to be making money. It's the superintendents, it's the people behind it that are money hungry, trying to change up traditions and stuff now, and that like. It was nothing wrong with the realignment that how it is. Oklahoma and Texas battling out for the Big 12 every year. That's what it was all about. This new stuff I'm not a fan of it. I mean, good luck to Texas State. Good luck to them.
When you mentioned too, I mean, you got Stanford and Cal being part of the ACC, having to travel across the country to compete, and that's Crabtree brings up. Oh, go ahead, Bryce.
Yeah, like I like my fiance. She's played softball at U of H. She's a big softball. It was so weird for her to see Oregon and UCLA traditional softball powers playing in cold weather, playing Nebraska and all those schools in the Big Ten. It's just and those coaches have complained about it's no fun having to travel that far for games. The greed of the university, the greed of people have made it just like it's not made it fun at all. And I think the players are getting affected, the fan base is getting affected. Like if I was a fan base and I'm used to if I'm UCLA, I'm used to playing Oregon that's on this side at nighttime. I'm used to playing Washington, schools around here. I could travel and buy plane tickets to those games. Now you asking me to fly across the country and that's a lot. Like U of H have alumni who traveled a lot of games. Now they have to travel farther because of this whole realignment situation. It just not made an ideal situation for anybody, fan base, fans alone.
I want to bring up E.I. Crabtree's comment, who said, with the new house settlement and school now being able to create contract buyouts, do y'all think U of H will be able to retain the best recruits in the city and not lose them to SEC schools, football, and basketball?
Absolutely. It already made effect this week. I was told that they had to renew the contracts before, I think, July the 1st, something with this new rule that came in. And so the players now see that they can be able to negotiate their contracts now. Oh, absolutely. It's going to help now. Of course, schools, I tell people all the time, schools like Texas, Ohio State, who have unlimited funds, those schools, no matter what kind of rules you put out, they're going to thrive at it because they just have
The most
resources
money.
other schools. But schools like this schools like U of H, SMU is going to really be now in Dallas. They're going to be able to. They're already out recruiting TCU. Now they're going to definitely with this be able to really keep the best talent. They're doing the same thing in Dallas. They're doing in Houston. Schools like U of H and SMU, who are not traditional powerhouses, they are now going to be able to retain the players in the cities, and it's going to really pay off. So I think it's huge. I absolutely think it's huge, and I think U of H is. And you're going to see. I think next month with some of the guys that's going to. I feel personally. I don't know. I feel personally that's going to commit to U of H. I think that it's going to be because of this, and you're going to see our recruiting classes get better. I remember when Coach Hogan was here. No, I love Coach Hogan. Our recruiting class was in the 90s and 100s. It was terrible. We're going to have a top 30 recruiting class this year. You can guarantee that.
That's big. That's big. Also, a new rule that passed with high school players being able to earn NIL. What have you heard about that?
Say again?
High school players. I think I read something about now that Texas high school players can get paid.
I don't think that rule has came to. I don't think it will.
Okay.
They can get paid. They get paid from the college they commit to while they're in high school.
Okay.
The other things outside of that, because at the time they was making them wait until they got on. That's why a lot of kids graduate early. A lot of the elite kids want to graduate in December now because you graduate in December, you could be making $15,000 to $20,000 a month in January. So a lot of elite kids, none of them stay gonna be able to make money while they're in high school, but from the school that they sign. Now you got to sign that contract with them. And I think the reason why that's going to help schools and stuff, they don't have to wait to see kids decommit that. They're going to be making investment in them a lot earlier.
Yeah, and today I found this article. I think you're alluding to this one.
Right. Yep.
A new bill signed by Governor Greg Abbott allows high school seniors to enter NIL agreements. But only enrolling in college, keeping Texas behind many other states in NIL access. Okay. So the intention was to allow Texas to take when you're rolling,
when they roll.
And they have to be 17 and up.
So they roll if they basically your senior year, they allow you to do it. I mean, it's gonna be. I think that. Quinn Ayers had a lot to do with it. He really wanted to get paid when he was at South Lake Girl, and I think he really pushed that. Man, times is changing, man. Like I wish I grew up in this era, man. My son wonder why I'm so hard on him now, man. My dad was hard on me, and we had none of this available to us. I said, son, keep your head down, man. You have a shot, dog. Yeah, what's up, man?
Another good question about AI Crabtree. Do you think the transfer portal will slow down as well?
I do. I do think the transfer portal. I think that's one thing they're gonna eventually change. I think soon too. I think they're gonna allow you to have. But I think with the NIL happening, I think the player's gonna have to. It's gonna have to be something to settle with. I think what they're gonna do eventually is if you sign with a school and you sign an NIL deal. And I think this is fair to players. You're going to have at least a 2-year commitment. And I think that's what they're going to go to. I think they're going to eventually say, okay, we'll pay you all this money in NIL, but you can't take our money and run the next year or leave. You're going to have to sign at least a 2. And it's going to have to be like NFL. They're going to have to go to contracts like that. And I think eventually that's what they're going to go to. And they will. And that's going to stop it all. They're going to stop all this transferring out. People are transferring because you don't have to show them loans. You can get money, and the next school come here, I'm going to pay you $200,000. But no. You sign with us. If we're going to pay you this money now, you're going to sign for 2 years. And I think a lot of coaches will want that because now you can't build a culture when you don't know who's going to be there. And it's changing daily, like monthly, really. Like those programs who are used to building culture, they play a certain type of way. because of culture take over, kind of like in basketball. Coach Sampson done a great job. He's able to keep his players, but that's a lot of colleges are not able to do that, and that's why you don't hear most coaches. You can't preach on culture when you can't establish a culture because you got guys moving in every single year. It's just it has made sports tough, man. Really tough.
You think the track record of Willie Fritz is helping him to establish a culture, being he's not one to jump from job to job, to be able to see one through, especially how he was at Tulane. He got there, saw it through, built to success. You thinking that's helping him not only in recruiting, but it's also going to aid him in actually build a culture and get players in to kind of buy into that culture and build it all the way up?
Absolutely. I mean, the big part I think athletes want to see too is the coach going to be there. You can tell me, I'm going to be here from long. I can't tell how many times this is not a stepping stone job for me. Bam, it was a stepping stone. I'll never forget, a lot of kids were so upset with Coach Herman. I mean, everybody outside knew this was a stepping stone job for him. Mm-hmm. But I think with Coach Fritz, I believe that with his track history, he's a builder. And what I mean by that is he likes building things, and he's going to see it through. And he built Tulane. And I think, I think he wants to build Houston. He understands now. I mean, Houston's a job. It's not Texas, but it's in the Big 12. Now, it's in one of the best cities in the world. He has all the tools he needs to build this. Like he built private school and Noah. He built that. So I feel like they know that he's going to be in here for long to build Houston that's in a much better city, much better resources. And I think he's going to do it too.
Bryce, I know you got to step out real quick, but I want to get your thoughts on the Big 12 men's basketball schedule. I think maybe I'm forgetting, but I don't remember them putting this out this early last season. But UH men's basketball schedule, they'll play both home and away, Texas Tech, Baylor, Cincinnati. They'll play them twice. They'll play at home only in the Fertitta Center, Arizona State, Colorado, K-State, West Virginia, UCF, and then on the road only, BYU, Iowa State, which is now third year in a row, I believe. No. The first year they played twice. Kansas, Oklahoma State, TCU, and Utah on the road early. What are your thoughts on conference matrix?
I think Arizona got a really good deal in their schedule. I feel like Kansas got a really good deal in their schedule, only having to play us at I don't understand that. I mean, I think like schools like Houston, Texas Tech, Arizona, Kansas, no matter what, those should be home and away games. Because even though we beat Kansas there last year, man, it was a skate job we done there, but we beat them here. It's only fair that they get to feel like what it feels like to come here and play us here too, the elite program.
Right.
Now, if you want to say Oklahoma State, those schools, if I'm the schedule, I'm like, I understand, but what do people want to see? People want to see us go to play Kansas, and people want to see Kansas come to Houston, one of the best 5 programs. And I think they did a disservice with the schedule. I don't like it. To be honest, Baylor and Tech, those schools that are automatic back-to-back, we're in Texas. So those schools should automatically be home and away games. But I feel like you have to add Arizona and Kansas as home and away games, no matter what. And even Iowa State, I'm tired of playing Iowa State. I hate going there and playing Iowa State. But if you want to say them playing both ways, but to us have to go to Kansas and they don't have to come to us, I didn't like that at all. I did not like that. Hey, Coach Sam's going to use that.
Oh yeah.
The Big 12 going back to 18 conference games for men's basketball. So we'll see. I know you got to step up, Bryce.
So big too. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Man, appreciate you guys, man. I got my kids this weekend, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. And I got them in there and they kind of late, so I got to get them ready for bed.
We'll save this question for next show. What game
Next
we
show,
have?
yeah.
We'll have a whole football. We'll look into the schedule on our next show. Thank you for the time, Bryce. We couldn't thank you enough. That's gonna do it for this edition of Pawd Slama Jama. Big thanks to Bryce who will step out. Big thank you. Big thank you to everybody that took the time out of their Tuesday night to join us on this edition. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram or TikTok, as you see on the screen. Let's Rage Cougs. Follow us on X at Pawd Slama Jama. We will be back. Hopefully, if all goes well next week. Dayon, I'll toss it over to you. Any final thoughts? And where can people find you, sir?
Man, you can follow me on all social media platforms as it's listed as Dayon Dunlap. And of course, I mean, we're open for business. Yeah. So as not only this helped us build our Let's Rage Cougs platform, but this is like our baby. We started with Pawd Slama Jama, so sponsors. You guys looking to help us continue to go further, email us at letsragecougs@gmail.com. I mean, or we have consistent fanship. We do consistent numbers. We can provide that with you guys. So reach out to us. We're looking to make some partnerships for our podcast as well as we continue to grow both platforms, Pawd Slama Jama and our Let's Rage Cougs post-game show. Now, always special. Thank you to Bryce, man. A lot of insight there. But before we go, Andy, we didn't get your our input on the schedule. What you think about the schedule?
Say that again. You cut off that last part.
I said we didn't give our input on the schedule. What you think about the basketball schedule?
I agree a lot with Bryce. Part of it is kind of that only 18 conference games. I think just the main thing. I'm surprised. Houston and Kansas have played twice, home and away, the past 2 years. So I can see how they're only playing once. Although it would have been fitting, it would have been best if they had to play at Fertitta Center. But Allen Fieldhouse, historic, all the things. I'm more surprised that they still haven't played Iowa State twice because it's been now back-to-back seasons. If I remember correctly, the first year in the Big 12, they did play twice. I'm curious to see if they have it on a cycle. That would be my main thing if I were to switch, just in terms of those one opponent that I would say like they really got to play twice. Texas Tech, like we saw this past year, like their two outings were legit. It's a shame they didn't get to play a third time, whether it would have been a national championship or even in the Big 12 championship. Baylor. It's going to be interesting to see what they look like, right? Like they're on a complete overhaul with their roster after all the losses, and just, it's going to be a completely new team from what they had this year. And in Cincinnati, All American Athletic Conference full. Maybe they take a step up, but I would like to have seen Iowa State be in a perfect world, Iowa State instead of Cincinnati. You play both home and away.
Now, I agree with both of you guys. I think I echo those same sentences. Definitely think that they want Kansas to do better than they did last year. So they did them a favor by only allowing them to play against us at home in Allen Fieldhouse and not coming to the Fertitta. So I think they did them a favor. But other than that, I think I agree with you guys. I think definitely having Texas Tech. I agree with Baylor as well, but got to be a home in Kansas. I think they did Kansas a Big 12 favor. All right, I'm sure Coach Sampson. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts and opinions about that. I'm sure he'll say the schedule is the schedule, but I'm sure behind closed doors, he'll use that as something to motivate the guys about, for sure. But as always, man, can't end anything without saying Let's Rage Cougs. Going forward, we're going to continue these podcasts on Mondays, Tuesdays, early in the week, or to fluctuate from the days, just depending on our schedules. But we're going to be consistent with it. We're going to talk more football, look into the schedule, give a win expectation. I see E.I. Crabtree's question right there. So next show, we'll have more insight, look at the schedule, win total, look at position, especially as spring and stuff gets real close. We'll really dive more and more to it. But always, it's good joining you, Andy. Of course, go Cougs.